Hey game designers, in this video we're gonna start remaking our tree in Vectary. Again, for those of you who use Maya and have access to Maya at home, can use my previous video to create your tree if you didn't save it from your school files. But for everyone else, let's go ahead and use Vectary to create our tree. Okay, so when we last left off, we have a bunch of rocks. We can go ahead and hide those for now to kind of help us, focus on what we're doing. So we're just going to click on these little eyeballs here to hide our previous ones here. And let's go ahead and, I mean, this is up to you. You don't have to do this, but I'm just going to go look for an image of a tree. So I'm going to do tree with no leaves. And I'm going to go to images, and I'm just going to go click on someone that I like. So suppose I like a tree, something like this. I don't know. Up to you. It's no big deal. And I'm just going to use this kind of a reference. It doesn't have to be exact, but kind of giving a reference to how trees naturally look like. It's not really a real tree. I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save Image here. And for you guys, it's going to save to your Downloads folder. Um, so go ahead and click on Save. And this is, again, optional. You do not have to do this. It's just a matter if you want to do this. It may make your life a little bit easier or maybe make your tree look more like what you actually want it. Um, so anyway, let's go ahead and go back to Vectary. So in Vectary, making references is relatively easy, although it doesn't give you as much control as you would like. So we're going to click on this import right here, and you're just going to click on Choose File. For you guys, it's going to save as, again, inside your My Files under Downloads. Okay, go ahead and click Open. And it's going to download your image right here. Again, this is the front. You can see the words right here. This is the front, and this is the back. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to need to rotate this thing. So I'm just going to use the rotate gizmo here and rotate it. Go to my transformation box and type in exactly 90 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and snap it. If you kind of move your tool again, it'll snap. So I'm going to move this right where I think the roots will be, something like that, right? Okay, and let's get started. So now you can kind of unsnap your view and kind of see what we're kind of heading for here. What I'm going to do is start with a cone, just like we did inside of in Maya, except in Maya we kind of drew our curve and then extruded on that curve. Unfortunately, Vectary does not have that, so we're just going to start with a simple primitive. We're going to start with a cone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and snap my tool right now. Snap my view, that is. Snap my view and kind of figure out how many subdivisions I want, because that's the most important part when it comes to making the primitive. So if you click on number of height segments, you see that it's 2. If you left click, you can see that's not enough edge loops for us to work with. So again, I'm a fan of multiples of 6, so I'm going to go 12 edge loops here. And the radius ones, it's 10 right now. I don't think we really need to really make it as round as we needed to. I think when we did the original project, when we did 5. So let's just do 6, because again, I'm a fan of 6. All right, I'm gonna move it down to 6. 6. Come on, I can just type it in here. 6. And let's just make the very tip of it go kind of up here. Okay, and then we're gonna duplicate again and make all the other sub branches. So I'm gonna duplicate and kind of go up into the corner here. So I'm going to kind of increase the height, and I'm going to increase the height. I don't know, nice number here, 150 or something. And I'm going to reduce the radius of the bottom here to kind of meet what we're looking for. So something like that. And I always like to go skinnier so that we can see the reference. Again, this Vectary does not allow us to like make this a reference, so it kind of stays open. But we'll click on it here and there to kind of get a view of what we're after. Okay, so again, once you're kind of done with creating all the subsections of the primitive, you need to click on Convert to Geometry before you can actually go in there and edit the edge loops. So we're going to go ahead and click on Edit now, and you can kind of see the edge loops. So this is a little bit annoying in Vectary because we don't have references, but we can just click back and forth and kind of get an idea of what we're after. So let's go ahead and teach you guys again how to edit the edge loops, you can click on this tool right here to click on the edge loops. So I'm going to double click on the edge. It's going to bring up kind of this wheel, and the wheel we're going to use the most is called loop selection. So basically, instead of allowing us to double click like in Maya, we're going to have to double click and bring up a separate menu, and we're going to double click on this or just single click on this, and it'll say select jog. We're just going to select one and then hit enter again. So you hit enter twice, and now it selects the entire edge loop. So now I can move the entire edge loop versus just the edge. Okay, so I think if I remember the reference correctly, it's kind of a little bit over here, a little bit expanded. Again, you don't have to use a reference. This is just kind of me, um, you know, not having good creative skills, so it's easy for me to just model off a reference. So I don't know. Again, you have to double click, click on the loop selection, enter twice to select the loop. Center it. I think it's actually more like over here, and I'm gonna scale it, make it look a little bit bigger, and then kind of use my reference again. And yeah, looks like my reference is starting to look wide enough. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. I'm not here to make it exact. You can see right here, I clicked on my silhouette under the edit window. I can see that my next edge loop, which is somewhere around here, I need to move it a little bit to the right and center it. So I'm going to, again, click on this loop selection, hit enter twice to jog only once, enter again to finalize it, center it over here, scale it a little bit wider. And I'm just going to, while I'm on this view, move the green axis a little bit off center because, nothing grows in like perfect cylinders, even, for example, palm trees don't grow perfectly like that. So I'm going to kind of look over here again. So I'm going to center it, move a little bit to the right, enlarge it a little bit. So I'm going to double click, not single click, but double click on the edge. It's going to bring up the widgets that allow you to grow, shrink, set the poly, invert the selections. I'm just going to click on loop selection again, enter, enter. And I'm going to kind of move it to the right over here, somewhere around here, and enlarge it, something like that. Um, And again, I'm not here to be exact. So the next edge loop, I'm going to go to the right, enlarge. So I'm going to go back here, click on this edge loop, select this, double enter, move it over here, enlarge it a little bit. Um, Again, sometimes I want to kind of give it some variance um, in the depth in and out. Just give it a little bit of variance here because trees again don't grow in perfect cylinders. Go back to my reference here. And my next edge loop is going to be much more fatter. So I'm going to kind of go here. Maybe I'll even increase this edge loop a little bit. Go over here. So I'm going to go here. Click on the edge loop again. Unfortunately, you have to do 4 clicks. Double click on here. Go to the loop selection. Hit enter twice. Okay, so I'm going to kind of move the edge over here, enlarge it a little bit like that, a little bit more enlarge. Okay, double click on this one. Loop selection. Enter, enter to select the edge loop. Move it over here, center it somewhere large. Once in a while, again, I want to move the green arrow a little forward, a little backwards, give it a little bit of variance over there. Go to my next one. Oop, I got to make it much bigger. So I'm going to go back over here, double click on this, enter, enter, kind of move up here a little bit and enlarge it. Something like that. Give it a little more girth around there. Okay, and let's go into the next edge loop. Next edge loop to the right and enlarge. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. I'm not going to make it exact in this one either, but it's nice to have a reference that you kind of feel like, that you're not too far off of what you have planned in your mind. Something like that. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. So let's double click on this edge loop, enter, enter, move again, scale up a little bit. Okay, and so I'm going to hold Alt and hold right click to kind of move my camera upward. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at my tree reference again. So my next edge loop is right here. It's going to move way to the left. So for somewhere from here, maybe up to middle right here and enlarge. So I'm going to click on this double edge loop, enter, enter, move it, significantly over here and enlarge it significantly like that. I think if I remember my mind. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. And at this point now, this point's going to kind of veer off over here to the corner. So instead of moving each edge loop and kind of going over all these vertices, I'm actually going to move the edge, kind of all of the tip, all the way over here, and then kind of just take the average and move things around to make life faster. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to click on the very tippy top. And I'm just kind of going to move it wherever the end of my reference is, kind of like the end point. Figure out where you want to begin, figure out where you want to end. And I can't even see that. So let's go ahead and move our camera. So I kind of want to move it somewhere over here. So let's click on this tippy top here and kind of move it all the way over here. So there we go. So let's just say that from this edge ring all the way to over here is where I want to go. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, you have to click on loop selection, hit enter twice. And now you're going to take the average. So I'm going to kind of go somewhere around here. Maybe I should have done the middle one. Click on the middle one, loop selection, enter, enter. Kind of find the average of where those 2 points are. So something like that. Okay. And then everything else is going to be an average of somewhere in between. So I'm going to click on the edge loop, enter, enter, and kind of move it over here somewhere, make it not perfectly straight, make it a little bit slanted, a little bit backwards. Click on this, click on the edge loop, enter, enter twice, move it down a little bit, click on this edge loop to loop select, enter, enter twice, move it, somewhere over here, shift it a little bit, something like that, enlarge it, decrease it, whatever you feel like. And then I'm gonna click on this edge loop, and you might need to zoom in like I'm doing right now. Double click, click on the edge loop, enter, enter twice. Let's zoom back out by scrolling down the mouse wheel button. Um, or in your case, you're gonna need to use your fingers to zoom out. Um, and we're going to go ahead and move it something like that. Now, if you are at home and you have access to a mouse, it might be a good idea to go ahead and connect your USB mouse. It will make your life easier when it comes to modeling, because it is kind of an upside to working from home, is that you have access to your own stuff. You can use a mouse. So you can see right here that I created a main branch here. Um, so now what we just did like we did before, because we're not really concerned with making one continuous mesh, is to duplicate this thing and then resize it and scale it. So so at this point, we could go ahead and duplicate the entire thing. So I have, let's go ahead and go to the object mode here. And I have my thing, and like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly like theirs. Mine isn't. Um, so we're going to go ahead and duplicate. So Control D to duplicate. Okay. And you can see right here that I created a duplicate. And I'm going to kind of go right here. And I'm going to scale it way down. But maybe I'm going to scale it a little bit longer. I'm going to rotate it. Kind of create the second branch of this thing. And again, I'm just make it fast because we're not here to exactly model after this tree as a reference, but kind of get an idea and kind of check to make sure that it's connected the way that I thought it would be connected. And it looks pretty good. Can I go from the side here? It looks pretty connected. If I feel like rotating it, I can rotate it another way. So right now it's rotated like this. If you click on global, you can kind of rotate it this way. So I can kind of rotate it off to the side like this so that everything is not only 2 dimensions here, like it's only on this plane, that it does have a little bit of different view. So I'm going to take this branch again, maybe duplicate it, make this branch over here. So I'm going to duplicate it, move the new one. So the new one is somewhere over here. So I still have my old one. You guys see it, it's back here. I'm going to move my new one over here. I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to use the global widget here. Oh, there's my ad. Click on the global here and kind of rotate it down like that. Scale it down a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and click on there and let's go back to local and enlarge it in this way. kind of check to see that it's not going out to the side somewhere. I'm gonna go back to global and go ahead and rotate it. I don't know, like kind of this way or something. So everything's not again on the 2D plane. Actually, I'm gonna rotate the other way. I'm on global, right? So yes, I'm global. I'm gonna rotate it kind of inward here, kind of give some branches on the inside, something like that. And don't worry about it. I mean, it's there. You guys just got to see it. It's kind of on this side. Some of it's on this side. Some of it's on the other side of this reference. And again, you don't need to have a reference. You can just kind of eyeball it if that's what you feel like doing. Um, I duplicated twice, so actually this one I can delete. So I got this one right here, kind of the way I want it. And I'm gonna take this one right here. I'm gonna duplicate it and make this side branch over here. Again, you don't have to do this exactly your way. This is your tree. You can decide how do you want to do it. Um, I'm just giving you guys an idea that what you can do. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it using global widgets. Kind of unsnap my view here and then rotate it to the other side. Something like that. Maybe move it a little bit here. So kind of move it down right here. And I can decide to rotate it up if I want. Rotate it up like that. And go ahead and decide how I want to scale it. It looks good. And again, if you really want to get into nitty gritty, you can go in there and change the detail and move the edge loop yourself. But I'm just kind of making a quick video here, not too long, kind of get you guys an idea of what you can do. Okay, I'm gonna hit Control D again. One more duplicate here. I want to move this one, I don't know, like way up here somewhere. Have it snap off of here. I'm gonna have to obviously scale it much more down, something like that, and decrease the height, shrink it down to something like that. And going to use the global to rotate. So I'm gonna rotate it downward a little bit to the right. And you kind of see right now that they're not attached to this. So I'm actually going to go here and turn off my reference real quick. So kind of doing some fine tuning here. So this one, obviously my intent was to have it snap to the tree. So rotate and maybe move a little bit. So right now it's snapping. So once it snaps, it'll rotate. I'm going to use the global widget. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so globally, I want to move it this way. Okay, and I want to rotate it slightly over to the right, something like that. And you can see now that we're starting to get a pretty good number of branches. And at this point, I don't even think you need to use the reference anymore. You can just go in there and, just start putting in a whole bunch of sub leaves. And you remember how we did it inside class. Um, that we're going to have like little branches anyway. So you need to have even that many small sub branches because the texture that we're going to use is going to have these itty bitty branches. So maybe we'll just add in, let's go add in like a few more. Let's add one right here, and then one right here. So I'm going to take this, duplicate it, have it snap to the object like this, use the global rotation here, and let's make sure I move it onto the tree, kind of look at it from different views, make sure you get it actually touching the tree here. And then I'm going to kind of rotate it. Let's see which way I want to rotate it. Rotate it down and inward like that, something like that. Okay. And then again, adjust it to make sure it's perfect the way you want it. Um, uh, uh, if I really want, I can get annoyed with this tree, but that's fine. All right, let's take another one here, duplicate it, and move it over here somewhere. Have it hopefully snap. Nope, it didn't snap. I can turn on the snap tool, but sometimes it's easier just do it by hand. You could click on here and have it snap to near. Hopefully that will. I said snap to face, so it should snap to a face if it finds a face, but apparently it does not snap to face. So maybe if we go snap to near, let's see if that will help us snap to other things. Nope, didn't look like it. Let's go and use the global. So move it over here. From this view, move it up. Actually, I don't want it here. I want it somewhere more like right here. So again, you can just use your two-plane view to guarantee that you're having what you want. I can kind of go over here and it will snap the view. So I can move it perfectly the way I want it. Okay, now it's just a matter of rotating. I'm probably going to rotate in, rotate around, something like that. I'm going to go back to local and kind of scale it down. Um, Something like that. Scale it a little bit longer. Okay, and let's just add one more. Let's go add one kind of out here or something. So I'm going to take this, duplicate it, use my move tool or my global, or you can use the move tool, just move it right here, right? So in this XYZ, it's fine, but let's go ahead and zoom out and rotate to the side. We see that it's way off. So globally, let's go ahead and move it way over here to have it touch. Okay. And then now let's go ahead and use the rotate tools, rotate, something like that. Yeah, let's rotate down a little bit more. Let's rotate it actually below and something like that. Okay. And there you have it. We have the main trunk and the branches of our tree. And again, if we are satisfied, we can go ahead and combine all these meshes together. So I think I'm pretty good. Let's just make sure I don't have any duplicates here. I'm checking that each one is not on top of each other and they're all separate. And yeah, it looks like it's all good. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first one and shift click on the second one. It'll select all of them in between. And I'm just going to go ahead and right click and I'm going to merge them. And it's all merged to one object. And let's go ahead and rename this real quick. We're going to name this tree trunk and branches. Okay. And there you have it. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you guys probably um, one day to go ahead and do the trunk and branches. And out tomorrow we'll do leaves. And then we will have our tree done. All right. See you guys.